Rain could be quite persistent across parts of Devon and Cornwall and also South Wales. Further north, and it's a bit of a west-east split, quite damp across parts of Northern Ireland, northwest England and much of central and western Scotland. Further east, a greater chance of some drier and perhaps even brighter weather. And that's the theme that we'll take through the day, really. Western areas will always see the wettest weather because that's where the rain is coming from. Rainfall totals across western Scotland continuing to build up. Could be some travel disruption, maybe even a bit of flooding here. And also in the southwest, need to bear in mind there could be some heavier bursts of rain for a time. All the while towards the east, a greater chance of staying dry, a bit more sunshine breaking through here and some higher temperatures, albeit temperatures generally down a little bit compared to some recent days. Then as we go into Sunday, yes, there may be some bright or sunny spells around, but on the whole, it's again looking pretty cloudy and there will be some showery bursts of rain, some heavier bursts perhaps across some parts of the southeast. Monday may still bring a few showers for some of us, but there does look likely to be a more drier trend as we go through next week and perhaps warming up too.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed Home Battery Storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
£54,321 cash could be yours. Cash that you could spend however you like. It's like having an extra £1,000 each week for a whole year to play with. Someone is guaranteed to win this amazing amount of cash. So make sure that someone could be you. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand. Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
This is fantastic. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Great to have you. All right. Well, like I said before, Oasis might be currently playing in Cardiff, but this really is where it's at. It's 9 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. I've got my wonderful live studio audience on the show tonight.
Exit poll result now. Let's reveal it. Labour, an astonishing victory for Sir Keir Starmer, 410.
Well, it was a year ago, exactly, wasn't it? But Sir Keir Starmer's first year has been a bit of a disaster.
Can we have a discussion?
Can you call them a terror group, Jeremy?
Can we have a discussion?
Can you call them a terror group?
Is it possible to have a rational discussion?
Are you prepared to call Hamas a terror group?
Is it possible to...
And Jeremy Corbyn is starting a new party. Today, the French actually bothered to stop a migrant boat, which is nice. Yeah.
I'm having a good time. Yeah, I'm rocking, yeah. When I'm allowed to do the job, I think it's good, yeah, I'm happy. When I'm not that...
Mad for it, mad for it. Yes, our kid, yes! All right, our kid. Oasis are on stage now. Let's go live to Jack Carson in Cardiff. Come on, Jack, there he is. Yes!
Well, it might feel like we're half a world away, Patrick, but here in Cardiff, there's fans all around us. They can't even get into the stadium, but they just want to hear the buzz and be here to feel the energy of Oasis. They got on stage a little bit after 8 o'clock, They started, there we go, we love the Welsh. They started a little bit after 8 o'clock with Hello, Liam and Noel on stage, Liam with his maracas. It was fantastic from the pictures we've seen inside. We've already had What's the Story, Morning Glory, and so many other classics. It seems like really we're just getting going.
Oh, Jack Carson, there we go. Fantastic. Well done, Jack. Love it, love it, love it. All right, this can come off now. This can come off. We're going to be crossing live back to Jack Carson in Cardiff. I'm sorry if I look a mess. Anyway, what about this?
Watch out, massive fatties. The lard police are in town.
All right, anyone here brave enough to admit they're on fat jabs? Fat jabs, one person, a couple of people, right, good. Well, West Streeting wants you all on them, so there we are. And... the pro-Palestine mob were outside court today, and, of course...
And may I take this opportunity to thank our outstanding British Transport Police for everything that they do to support staff.
Any sympathy for Rachel Reeves? No. OK. All right, well, on my panel tonight, we have the former editor of London Evening Standard, Emily Sheffield. We've got GBNews presenter Alex Armstrong. Broadcasting royalty, Christo Fufas. And the Labour MP for Brent West, Barry Gardner. Oh, stop it. You'll be cheering him by the end. Get ready, Britain, here we go. It's time for a new political party. Jezbollah. Next.
Patrick, thank you. The top story, Palestine Action's appeal against the decision of a High Court judge not to temporarily block the banning of the group as a terrorist organisation has resumed at the Court of Appeal this evening. Huda Amouri, the co-founder of Palestine Action, asked the High Court to temporarily block the government from banning the group as a terrorist organisation before a potential legal challenge against the decision to prescribe it under the Terrorism Act. We'll bring you the latest on that just as soon as we get it. A brawl filmed at Manchester Airport last summer followed an attack on a member of the public at Starbucks, the jury's heard today. Brothers Mohammed Fahir Amaz, who's 20, and Mohammed Ahmad, who's 26, are said to have used a high level of violence in assaulting 3 police officers in Terminal 2 on the 23rd of July last year. Police were at the airport responding to an earlier incident at the Starbucks cafe where Mr Amaz headbutted a man and punched him, Liverpool Crown Court has heard. Both brothers from Rochdale and Greater Manchester deny the allegations and claim self-defence. Jeremy Corbyn says discussions are ongoing over the formation of a new political party after Zara Sultana announced she was quitting Labour to co-lead one alongside him. In a statement on social media, the independent MP for Islington North says real change is coming. This Labour government has refused to deliver the change people expected and deserved. Ms Sultana, who represents Coventry South, was one of 7 Labour MPs who lost the party whip last summer for backing a move to scrap the 2-child benefit cap. The Deputy Leader of the Liberal Democrats, Daisy Cooper, says it's indicative of the public's dissatisfaction with the 2 main parties. And former Arsenal player Thomas Partey has been charged with rape by the Metropolitan Police Service. The 32-year-old has been charged with 5 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual assault. 2 counts of rape relate to 1 woman, 3 counts relate to a second woman, and 1 count of sexual assault relates to a third. Those offences are reported to have taken place between 2021 and 2022. Partey's lawyer said he denies all the charges against him, adding he now welcomes the opportunity to finally clear his name. He's due to appear in court on the 5th of August. And those are the latest headlines. For now, more news in an hour.
For the very latest GB News direct to your smartphone, sign up to News Alerts by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/alerts.
Wow, what an audience we've got in tonight. Fantastic to see so many of you. Thank you very much. Let's make sure we get off to a flyer. So, Magic Grandpa himself, Jeremy Corbyn, is back, baby.
Hi, how you doing? We're back and we're ready for it all over again.
He's setting up a new political party with Zara Sultana.
So I say this loudly and proudly, on Wednesday the 2nd of July, 2025, we are all Palestine. Order!
She then said action, which of course now I think might land her in prison. But anyway, yes, if she says that again, she might go to prison because Palestine Action lost a court case today and they're going to be a terrorist organisation. Happy about that, do we think? Right, there we are. Well, at least one of the other MPs who may well get involved with Jeremy Corbyn in the Gaza gang, well, I think he's in favour of cousin marriage, isn't he?
The reason the practice is so common is that ordinary people see family intermarriage overall as something that is very positive, something that helps build family bonds and helps put families on a more secure financial foothold.
Just build family bonds. I mean, by definition, they're already in the same family, aren't they? So there we go. But anyway, well, at least Jeremy Corbyn's really solid when it comes to knowing what a terrorist is.
Can we have a discussion?
Can you call them a terror group, Jeremy?
Can we have a discussion?
Can you call them a terror group?
Is it possible to have a rational discussion
Are you
with
prepared to call Hamas a terror group?
Is it possible to have a rational discussion
can
with
you?
Is it possible? Come on, answer that question.
You can't, can you?
You answer it.
No, it's my show. You answer my question.
Well,
are Hamas a terror group?
Listen, can I...
Are they a terror group?
Piers, can I speak?
Answer the question.
Can I speak?
Are they a terror group?
Piers,
no.
If you let me speak,
Are they a terror group?
If you'll let me speak, I'll say something.
Go on then.
A ceasefire means both sides.
You said that.
Just say no. Just say no. Look, it's really unfair to say that he supports Hamas and he denies that he does. He did attend a wreath-laying ceremony for the terrorists behind the Munich Olympics massacre, though, but he cleared that all up by saying he was present but not involved. So there we are. Anyway, he did, however, vote against making Al-Qaeda a prescribed terrorist organisation before 9/11. Maybe he was being ironic, which, of course, Zionists wouldn't understand, Jeremy.
This was dutifully recorded by the thankfully silent Zionists who were in the audience on that occasion, and then came up and berated him afterwards for what he had said. They clearly have 2 problems. One is they don't want to study history, and secondly, having lived in this country for a very long time, probably all their lives, they don't understand English irony either.
Nice bloke. Anyway, at least he doesn't have a track record of taking the side of Britain's enemies, OK? I mean, he just happened to question whether or not we had enough evidence to say that Vladimir Putin was behind the Salisbury poisonings, and he's great at delivering speeches.
Investing in skills, investing in our young people. And, strong message here, not cutting student numbers.
Strong message here. And then, of course, well, there was the worst high five in history. Oh, OK, wait. Right, let's play again, but slow it down this time. Right on the boob, wasn't it, as well? That's the thing. Anyway, the problem is he's actually on 10% in the polls if he goes and sets up this party. So it is a bit of an issue, conceivably. Although Corbyn and the Gaza gang, of course, didn't get off to the best start. Zara Sultana announced she was co-leading the party. Jeremy Corbyn claimed he didn't know anything about it. And then now he's saying that he will, but Zara probably won't be the co-leader. So, look, the only thing that remains now is what will this party be called? So, any suggestions, anyone? What about Jezbollah? There we go. Right, so let's get the views of my wonderful panel and, of course, my live studio audience. Why don't we just start by going straight to the audience? There's a chap on the front row here. Is that all right? Have you got you're talking about? You want to make a point about Jeremy Corbyn's new party? Do you?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Panel. Hello, everybody.
All right.
And it's lovely to see Emily here as well. Lovely surprise. First of all, a shout out, please, for Sasha, who's been looking after us all this evening. We don't see Sasha. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Sasha. Yes, this Jeremy Corbyn. Doesn't matter who's in charge. I mean, a pro-Palestine party, really? What if there was a pro-Israel party? What reaction would that get? What if Donald Trump comes over and says, we'll have a pro-America party? How about pro-Great Britain? How about pro-United Kingdom? But the minute you say pro-United Kingdom and pro-Great Britain and pro-England, how about that? All of a sudden, you're right-wing, you're racist. I think it's
all right for Scots to do it, though, isn't it? They can have a Scottish National Party. That's absolutely fine. There's no whiff of any racism there, no xenophobia there, is there? But, of course, yes. But anyway, all right, well, thank you very much, sir. Off to a flying start. Alex, I'll start with you. Making your debut on tonight's show, so thank you very much. What do you... I don't know whether or not everyone's been in Cardiff with the Gallagher brothers before this show. It sounds like there's a lot of energy in the room.
I love it. It's great.
What do you make of Jezbollah?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually not surprised. I don't think many people in the room are. I actually think Zara Sultana and a few of the other Labour MPs who are yet to announce they're going to join this party had it planned from the beginning. I think when you look at their voting record, how much disdain they had for Keir Starmer, they were always planning to do this. They just wanted to strike right at the right moment while Keir Starmer was down, the blood was in the water, and I think that is an opportune moment for them because Keir Starmer's really weak. But I think Jezbollah will do quite well. There's 40 seats we're looking at where the Muslim vote is really strong, and if there's a single candidate that can come round, they could take up to 40 Labour seats. If I was Wes Streeting and a few of those front benches, I would be very, very worried.
So the argument, Emily, might be that this is, OK, firstly, it's democracy, isn't it? So if you start a political party and people have a right to go and vote for it, and that's the system we live in, so we can't really have a problem with that. I suppose the wider concern is whether or not it might be quite damaging for sectarian politics in Britain. It might help fester it.
It might help fester it, but I believe in democracy, and if people feel they want to be represented, whatever their issue, then that's something we've got to stand by. I think as a Conservative, this is going to see Labour come under the same kind of pressure the Conservatives have from reform, and we don't know how big this breakout party could become because no one thought reform was going to get as many seats as it did. And it's got 4 MPs now, because one left, right? So
no, 5 now. 5
no,
now.
we're back 5, sorry. Because then
back to 5.
Back to 5.
Yeah.
No, it's not implausible that this party could have 4 or 5 in the next few weeks, depending on who moves over from and quits the Labour Party. And you've just got to remember that Corbyn did get a lot of votes, more than Keir Starmer ever did. Back in 2017.
The 9 million or something like that?
Something like that. So I don't think Labour are going to be underestimating how Jezbollah might hurt them.
I think some people might worry, Christo, that this could lead to an increase in anti-Semitism, for example. I mean, we do remember that the Corbyn administration, although they would deny, of course, that they were in any way anti-Semitic, they were dogged by those allegations. And I played you a few clips there that certainly, I think, quiver on the edge. Whether this might embolden certain groups of people.
Yeah, and I think, well, firstly, I think I prefer the Gaza gang.
Right.
I think actually, rather than, as you said, I think rather than Jezbollah, I think Gaza gang should come in with something. But also, what do they have other than that? But I think that they're saying it's going to be sort of a left-wing alternative. And by the way, I agree, it's good that there should be more democracy. The two-party politics is over, and if people want to vote for them and vote on what's going on there rather than actually what's happening in the UK, well, then that's up to them. But what else do they have? Because if you consider that... So Corbyn wanted nationalisation. Well, the Labour Party that we have now is nationalising the railways, and Corbyn wanted higher taxes. Well, the Labour Party that we have now has the highest taxes in history. Corbyn would have wanted VAT on school fees, for instance. Well, that's what the Labour Party now is doing. There's a lot that the Labour Party is doing today that is quite Corbyn-esque, even though Keir Starmer turned his back on him, even though he supported him before that. So I'm not sure that they will have anything else other than Gaza.
Well, could I make one tiny point?
okay.
Is that Farage has said that some of his politics are close to Corbyn. So there's a minor point that actually this party may steal some votes off Reform. I haven't seen anyone make that point yet, but Farage has frequently said that there are some things he crosses over with Corbyn.
I would pay to see like a Corbyn-Farage coalition.
Well, I think, yeah.
I think I'd leave the country, frankly.
Yeah, I want to bring Barry in, because the reason why I left it to because I was keen to get other people's views. Now, you are obviously currently a Labour MP, so...
Less than the currently.
Well, you've been a Labour MP for...
Unless you know something about the Chief Whip's intentions that I don't.
But look, you at one point obviously supported Corbyn.
Yeah, of course. I've supported every Labour leader. I've served from Tony Blair, Gordon...
So were you only supporting him because you had to?
No, look. I support the Labour Party because I believe that it's the most progressive force in British politics. And, of course, I also believe that any Labour leader is going to be better than any Conservative leader, and that's why I supported all of the Labour leaders. Look, I think single-issue parties that we're seeing here don't really stack up. I think if you are a protest party on a specific issue, your chances of gaining widespread acceptance by the British public are fairly low. So I don't actually think that this party, given that it seems to be basing itself around Gaza, and let me be clear, I think what's going on in Gaza is absolutely abhorrent. I think we're seeing, literally 40,000, 50,000 children die. Just in the last week, we've seen 1,000 people killed for trying to get food for themselves, being shot at.
Who's doing that shooting, though?
Well, the IDF.
Okay, because there's also a lot of rumblings that some of it's Hamas, isn't it?
Yeah, but the point, well, Hamas are not dropping the munitions that have been killing people. But my point here is that if you are a single-issue party, then once that issue is no longer in the public spotlight, you're unlikely to gain traction with the wider public. And so I think it's a shaky start for any party. I would say this, though. What Zara Sultana said in her speech was that we need a politics of hope. And I think that's absolutely right. And I think that's where the Labour Party
Would
in
you
the
ever
last
join
year...
this new party, then?
No.
The guy sat through Jeremy Corbyn's leadership. I don't think he's going anywhere.
He might want to do it again. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know.
What I'm saying is I think over the past year, what we haven't done as a government is emphasise the hopefulness, given people a vision of what we want to do. And I think it's really important that any political party that is going to get traction with people needs to do that. So in that respect, I think what she said about the need for hope is really important. And I make one final point, Patrick, on this, and that is there are other parties...
I've lost hope now, Barry.
I'm glad.
Don't come at me, you know.
All I wanted to say was, I think, look, the reality is Hezbollah and Reform and other small parties wouldn't exist if the Labour Party and the Conservatives had listened to the public's desires election after election. You let the public down, you're letting them down now. And the reason why there is no agenda for hope is because there was no agenda for this party in the first place, was there? It's just been from one bumbling, botched policy to the next one.
All right, OK. Well, we're going to have to move on, but I imagine we'll return to this at some point. Oh, no. Oh, no. Are you all right? Are you all right?
I'm fine. I really wanted to shut off some pensioners, and I'm feeling a bit bad about it. And then I wanted to screw over some farmers, and I feel bad about that as well. And I wanted really high taxes. It's made me feel terrible. I'm sorry, is this unprofessional? Probably. It's probably quite unprofessional.
Have you got a personal issue?
Yeah, I've got a personal problem. It's nothing I don't want to talk about.
All right, we'll leave it at the door.
Go home.
OK, so we're going to have to go to this giveaway. You pull yourself together, you're going to crush the pound. Right, OK. we've got the coolest cash giveaway ever. It's 54,000. Here's how you can be in it to win it.
The Great British Giveaway is now even greater, with your chance to win our biggest cash prize so far. A totally tax-free £54,321 cash could be yours. Cash that you could spend however you like. It's like having an extra £1,000 each week for a whole year to play with. Imagine what you could do with that. Someone is guaranteed to win this amazing amount of cash, so make sure that someone could be you. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
OK,
I'm OK now.
Are you all right?
I'm OK now. I'm all right now.
He's got a job for life.
I'm OK now. Just don't sack me. Please don't sack me.
I'm not going to sack you, mate. I'm not going to sack you, OK? It's all right. I was going to sack him. Anyway, OK, coming up, Rachel Reeves. Will she come clean about what really happened?
And I'm having a tough day, it's on the telly, and most people don't have to deal with that.
So the Chancellor's made a remarkable recovery, putting on a united front with the Prime Minister, who definitely can't sack her now, can he, after crying through PMQs. Anyway, Reeves still claims it's all down to a personal reason. What's really going on? Stay tuned.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
At GB News, we are proud to stand for you, for the Britain you love, for the communities you live in. That's what makes us the fearless champions of Britain. Its voices and its values. Because we, at GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Well, thank you very much to our wonderful audience. We do have a bloke in from the United States. Well done. This is great. And you came here just for this, mate, didn't you?
The best show.
The best show on telly, yes! Right, well trained, very well trained. Anyway, Chancellor Rachel Reeves says that she's cracking on with the job, which is good, because a couple of days ago she was just cracking up, wasn't she? But after a tearful moment in the Commons, spot a lot of speculation about her future.
And may I take this opportunity to thank our outstanding British Transport Police for everything that they do to support staff and passengers.
So the Chancellor joined Sir Keir Starmer and Health Secretary Wes Streeting for the NHS's 10-year launch. So they were brushing off concerns, saying that her upset was just a personal issue, nothing to do with politics.
Clearly, I was upset yesterday, and everyone could see that. It was a personal issue, and I'm not going to go into the details of that. But my job as Chancellor at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday is to be at PMQs next to the Prime Minister, supporting the government, and that's what I try to do.
Well, she could have tried a bit harder, to be fair, but anyway, there we go. So, what do we really think went on? There's a gentleman on the front row here who would like to make a point about Rachel Reeves. Where are you on the situation? Yeah. Remember that?
Hi there. Yeah, obviously it was a personal matter, but also I wonder if you feel Reeves' lack of relevant experience and qualifications contributed to her situation this week.
Oh, good question.
Yes. Well, hang on. I thought that she invented the Bank of England. Didn't she? Did she not invent currency or something? I'm sure that she did. I think it's outrageous. Actually, I think it's awful that she was crying. I don't care whether you are Labour, Conservative, whatever you might be, male or female, you are Chancellor of the Exchequer. There is a level of conduct. And unless it was literally something like she had just had it whispered to her that a close family member had died, but even then I think you would excuse yourself. You are the Chancellor. What you do matters. Markets lost money as a result of that. And then to not get an explanation and get some limp explanation about some personal matter, I think it's absolutely awful. And I think the people online saying, oh, well, you know, people being really nasty by saying this. You're the Chancellor. Get it together. Stop having an episode in front of everyone.
To your point about whether she was experienced enough, I was the only one who raised during the election period that I had serious doubts about her CV. And the Labour lot piled on me on Twitter, and I had a serious amount of abuse. And even the Conservative Party didn't believe me, and I was trying to persuade them to look into it because I had seen that her Wikipedia page had been changed and details had been omitted. And I wanted us to look into this because she was going around saying, oh, you know, I worked at the Bank of England. Well, she did. That was true, but in very junior roles. And it did turn out that she had made up certain, exaggerated, shall we say, certain elements of her CV. And I think that the key point is that she then became a very young politician. Now, there are lots of career politicians in all parties, but the Labour Party particularly is filled with MPs who have never worked in business. Never. They have no experience of running a business. And so it became as no surprise to me that they lied to business the whole way during that election. And the first chance they got, they kicked business in the teeth by putting extra taxes on.
OK. I'll go back to you and then we'll go to Barry. Go on, what do you like to say?
It's interesting you say that you raised that issue because I'm outside of London and nowhere did I see any questioning of her experience or publicising that she was perhaps not up to the role
the media
by any of the mainstream media.
In the election, the media should fess up. They failed to put Labour under any due diligence whatsoever, and the media should really own up to that failure. I understand that people wanted to get rid of the Tories and they focused on their madness, but now look what is happening because we did not put them under.
Well, you've also got to be really honest, and people have to be really honest, which is, I think, the vast majority of people in the British media voted for the Labour Party. Yeah. And they, you know, we'll never know because we're not hovering over them in the polling booth, are we? But I don't think it's a particular shock. You only have to look at the way that they were treated. Andrew Marr on Question Time wasn't long after. Oh, calm has been restored, everybody. This is great. It's like a new day. John Sopel saying the clouds parted as Sir Keir Starmer drove up to Downing Street. I mean, grief, come on. We all know who they voted for, right? So they weren't going to do that. But Barry, to our chap's point here on the front row, you know, was she crying fundamentally, do you think, because she's overpromoted and out of her depth?
I first want to respond to what you said, Emily. As somebody who ran my own business in the City of London for 12 years, somebody who's been a director of a merchant bank, I know what business feels, and at the moment, business confidence is at the highest point it's ever been in the past 9 years. Not my figures.
More businesses have closing in the last few months than in history.
And I'm sure, Emily,
20,000 jobs gone in hospitality alone.
Yes, indeed.
Is that growth? Do you call that growth?
That's not what I said, Emily, and you know it. So, but you'll corroborate that it is at the highest point it's been for 9 years, and over the past year we've had. You can't?
No, I won't corroborate that.
Well, you won't, but you could if you actually looked at the facts. And over the past year, we've had 145 billion of private investment, the highest level coming in for 10 years of private investment. So actually, you can say what you like about the economy, and the economy's not doing well.
How many people can you list who've run businesses in the Labour Party, in the Cabinet? How many?
Well, one by
Well, I'm not in the cabinet, sir. But look, my point would be this: if you are the education secretary, you don't have to be a teacher. If you're the health secretary, you don't have to be a doctor. If you're the Chancellor of the Exchequer, you don't have to be an economist.
And that is exactly the same nonsense.
About the Bank of England.
That is exactly the same nonsense that's got this country into the serious state it is today. We are putting in career politicians with no experience to run our economy, to run our education system, to run our health. How can we trust people with zero? You wouldn't put a CEO of a major corporation. The NHS is the 4th largest company in the world, right? You wouldn't put an inexperienced CEO if you run a private business with someone's CV like Rachel Reeves. Unfortunately, that is the case.
Name me one Secretary of State for Health who has been a doctor.
I'm saying in general, that's the reason why we're in this situation is because of consecutive governments who have done this. But I will also say on the case of Rachel Reeves, I don't have a lot of sympathy for somebody who has cost farmers their jobs, pensioners their fuel allowance and possibly their warmth during the winter and crashed parts of the economy. The gilt yield was the thing that brought Liz Truss down. And I don't remember the left-wing media crying over much when Liz Truss was bullied in and out of office.
OK. All right, well, we could obviously carry this on. We're going to have to whiz our way through, I'm afraid. Plenty more to come tonight, including, well, I think we probably should do a roundup of Starmer's first year, shouldn't we?
Have you ever tried one of these drugs?
You're literally the third journalist to ask me to say, I've got a complex now.
Sorry.
I know I've put on a few pounds since I became Health Secretary, but honestly...
Well, it looks as though that man there, West Streeting, what he says he wants to abolish fat. That's what he said, he wants to abolish fat. Well, good luck, mate, but there we are. So, will everyone get on the old fat jabs? We're going to have to wait and see, but are they safe? That's next, so cheers.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
With low pressure close to the UK this weekend, higher pressure is expected throughout the Mediterranean. Very hot in Croatia and across parts of Greece. Less breezy through the Greek islands, but less hot for Italy compared with recent days. Still some thunderstorms inland through Italy, across the Alps, and more especially northern parts of Spain and the Pyrenees, seeing some intense thunderstorms, breezy through the Canary Islands, and really it's more of the same over the next few days.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office.
things are definitely looking a bit wetter for many this weekend than they have been recently. It's because there's a weather system which has already brought quite a bit of rain across many parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland. It's now feeding into northern and western parts of England and Wales, and so that whole system's going to continue to feed its way across the whole country as we go through the rest of today, overnight and into tomorrow. As a result, there will be a lot of cloud around, outbreaks of rain for many, perhaps just some eastern parts of England and Scotland staying largely dry. There will also be some blustery winds with all that unsettled weather. Well, temperatures aren't going to drop a huge amount, most places holding up well into the teens. As we go through tomorrow morning then, a bit of a cloudy, damp start for many places. Across many areas of the south, there will be some outbreaks of rain, could be quite persistent across parts of Devon and Cornwall and also South Wales. Further north, and it's a bit of a west-east split, quite damp across parts of Northern Ireland, northwest England and much of central and western Scotland. Further east, a greater chance of some drier and perhaps even brighter weather. And that's the theme that we'll take through the day, really. Western areas will always see the wettest weather because that's where the rain is coming from. Rainfall totals across western Scotland continuing to build up. Could be some travel disruption, maybe even a bit of flooding here. And also in the southwest, need to bear in mind there could be some heavier bursts of rain for a time. All the while towards the east, a greater chance of staying dry, a bit more sunshine breaking through here and some higher temperatures, albeit temperatures generally down a little bit compared to some recent days. Then as we go into Sunday, yes, there may be some bright or sunny spells around, but on the whole, it's again looking pretty cloudy and there will be some showery bursts of rain, some heavier bursts perhaps across some parts of the southeast. Monday may still bring a few showers for some of us, but there does look likely to be a more drier trend as we go through next week and perhaps warming up too.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News. At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's a supersonic atmosphere in here. Fantastic stuff. Well, Britain could be fat-free in a decade. That's a bold claim from the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting. He wants weight loss jabs like Ozempic freely available on the NHS.
Have you ever tried one of these drugs?
You're literally the third journalist to ask me to say, I've got a complex now.
Sorry.
I know I've put on a few pounds since I became Health Secretary, but honestly, I'm never coming on this channel again.
No,
I've not been. Well, evidently, I've not been on the jabs. So, but no, I wouldn't say no. But what I'm not comfortable about is the fact that people are having to pay privately. I want them to be available on the NHS, and now I'm going to go away and look at my BMI and test my eligibility. No, you give me a complex now.
Well, some might say it's all part of his master plan, and little by little, all of the fat will just slide away. But there's a chap here who wants to ask a question on the fat jabs. Does he make a point? Is that all right, sir? What's your name? Where have you come from?
My name's Matthew, and I'm from Leicester.
Well done, Matthew. Thank you very much. What would you like to say, mate?
So I've been on the fat jab for 11 months from the NHS because I had heart surgery and stuff, and I qualified for it. But after 11 months now, because I've plateaued out, I've lost 3.5 stone. It's been life-changing. I feel great.
Well
So, yeah, I'm cycling, a lot fitter, a lot healthier. I feel really positive, but they're cutting it after 12 months because I've plateaued out. I'm worried now that I'm going to put it all back on and then I'm back where I started. I turned down bariatric surgery, which is a very expensive way of doing it, for the drug which actually costs very little on the NHS compared to that. And yet they're cutting it.
Well, good. Thank you for coming on and sharing your experience, mate. Well done all the way. I think you're looking like a rock and roll star, mate. If you lose any more weight, fantastic. Right, OK, so who's to go on this? I mean, I don't know. Christo, would you ever use the weight jabs? Or?
The weight loss jab?
Weight loss jab.
I don't know. Well, actually, I'm not entirely sure that I would.
What's happening here?
Sorry, I'm just giving myself a little top-up, actually.
Right.
I'm joking. This is a spent one. It's not one, but I just thought you might want to see what it looked like.
So you're on them?
Yeah.
And obviously, it's well done, Christo. Yeah.
You don't know that I've lost anything yet. I might not have.
I can tell.
Yeah, I've been.
He was thinking of your marbles, dear.
Yes, thank you. I'd rather I think about them than you. I've been taking it for nearly 2 years, actually, which is quite a long time. And I'm now in my 7th stone.
Oh, wow. You've lost a whole person.
But, I've gained and lost weight so many times in my life. I've, had a real problem with it. I've gained and lost like 100 stone, probably. And so what it gets rid of is the food noise. It's a really good way, but you also, and as this gentleman probably attest, you can't just take it and think it will solve everything. You have to exercise. You can eat through it if you really want to. So I take on board what you're saying, that actually what people need as well, if they're being prescribed it, is help as to how they're going to get off it, because or what to do afterwards, because I think you might find yourself sort of wanting to eat again.
Yeah, I suppose who wants to live forever, really? That's the thing, isn't it? And a lot of people turn to cigarettes and alcohol instead of getting on the fat jabs and all of that. But
Can we call them the Manjaro jab rather than the fat jab?
What would you say? Are they safe, do you think, Alex?
No, I'm a bit dubious about all this stuff. I tend to be a little bit worried when I see new miracle jabs. And do you know what worries me the most is when you see the media on the Mail, on the Sun, they had some bizarre stories that this is going to cure cancer, make you, grow another limb or something, and it just worries me, because you've seen this happen before. I remember the newspapers back in the day, they promised you that smoking was good for you, right? So I'm so dubious about this stuff. Nothing's going to beat a healthy lifestyle, getting fit, eating healthily, and that's what I prescribe the nation. I think we just got to double down a little bit more on that. But of course, there are certain cases where these jabs will be lifesavers, and I'm all for that where it's necessary.
Well, go on, Emily. Your views on the fat jab.
I think we've got to have a very strong message on both. As you have pointed out, the trouble is with these jabs is that lots of people are experiencing when they come off them that the weight is going straight back on. And there has to be a lot of focus. If the NHS and the taxpayer will be paying for that, for those jabs, let's not forget, this is going to be very, very expensive, is that there's got to be so much training alongside so that people can try and learn to drown that noise out by repetitive habits, by emotional learning alongside it. I do think there are some concerns around the safety, but this has been used for a long time for people with diabetes. Yeah. I do think, on the whole, this is a fantastic drug, and maybe something will change. But I've just come back from America, and we've got to change our food industry as well, because you come from the States. It is truly horrifying, the levels of food that are being served to people in restaurants, the sizes, and we are moving that way. So we do have to tackle the food industry at the same time. You cannot blame humans that every single thing that we eat is loaded with sugar and salt and literally built to make us addicted to the worst kind of foods.
Yeah, I mean, well, there you go. Just come back from America. It's half the world away, that, isn't it? What do you say quickly?
The food industry is now behaving like the tobacco industry did 30, 40 years ago, right? They're denying their responsibility for exactly what Emily's saying. There is actually a parallel programme that the NHS is rolling out, which is called Second Nature. And I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's a brilliant programme which is educating people to actually lose that weight, and it's becoming very successful. So I'd recommend that to you. But absolutely, we've got to get our kids learning how to cook fresh food, fresh vegetables, and do it properly.
All right, guys, look, we're pressed for time. Thank you very much. Sorry we didn't get to whoever's question it was there. We'll try and get to you in the next section. But loads more to come, because MPs voted to ban them. But look what happened today. whatever. Stop crying your heart out, really, seriously. Pro-Palestine protests at the Royal Courts of Justice. The courts upheld Parliament's decision, though. Yeah, so we're also going to be talking about this. We have got live scenes, have we, from Cardiff's Principality Stadium. Yes, where Oasis have, I believe, now, have they finished, or are they finishing this? Yeah, mad for it, mad for it. OK, we're going to go back to Jack Carson. No, I'm having a breakdown. Right, OK, we'll go to Jack Carson in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello, everyone. Patrick Christys here.
I'm Michelle to Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Here we go. What a night. What a time to be alive, everybody. The boys are back, aren't they? Oasis. Has anyone here managed to get tickets? Just me, then, is it? No, oh, you, yeah, fantastic. All right, brilliant. And thanks again to dedicated viewer Jules, who managed to get me a ticket. So cheers. This job does have perks. Anyway, right, so Oasis are back after 16 years, and their reunion began in Cardiff tonight. Just look at the stadium now. The show's going on right in there. Liam and Noel Gallagher. They've not performed together since the band split back in 2009, but after a long wait, they were back, and I was watching a live stream illegally earlier on, and they sounded absolutely fantastic. Joining us now from just outside is our reporter, Jack Carson. Jack, can you hear it out there or not?
You can
You can kind of just hear it, but what you can hear are it's just the noise, just the cheers every time they finish a song. It's just incredible because, of course, nobody really knows the set list before this, so every song is very much like a surprise. We don't think we've heard Don't Look Back in Anger or Wonderwall yet, but I'm sure they're going to come right at the end to finish this whole occasion off. But look around us, you know, we're outside the stadium at the moment, and there's people that haven't even got tickets and are just here trying to listen in. One of those, and he called us at 9 o'clock. You might recognise this man, Mark Hawkins. I mean, he's even got a wig on for us. Look, he's even got a wig on. Amazing. He's got a wig on for us. I mean, you've not even got you've not even got. My heart's going to blow away. You've not even got a ticket to go in. Why are you here?
Listen, hairs on the back of my neck are absolutely standing up. The atmosphere is electric. You can hear them banging the seats, like coming to watch Wales play rugby. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, we've been here for a couple of hours now, just soaking up the atmosphere. Glastonbury last weekend. Oh, absolutely amazing. This is electric. Absolutely electric. Two nights of this, then they move on. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
You've got a cider in your hand. Have you not? Have you had a cider in your hand every?
This is a bit of a homemade sangria, actually. So yeah, it looks a bit like cider, but homemade sangria.
And what do Oasis mean? What's your story about Oasis?
Oh, I just think, you know, in terms of where we were trying to play in for tickets last year, unfortunately we weren't, you know, able to get tickets. But just we were like, let's get on the train, get into Cardiff, loving it. Just brilliant to have them first, you know, in the city and soak up the atmosphere.
And what do you like about Oasis? What's kept them for you timeless to bring you here tonight?
I just think it's a bit about, you know, culturally, clearly, they've got a big following. And for me, I love music. They're absolutely electric. And they will be tonight and tomorrow and continually on.
What's your favourite Oasis song?
Oh, Wonderwall. Got to be Wonderwall. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to give us a song? Come on, can you sing it?
Sing it.
Hey, after a few of these, no.
Sing it.
Oh, come on, sing.
Wonderwall. That's my best effort. Simon Cowell, you can sign me up.
There we go. Mark Hawkins, thank you very much. Mark there, that is just amazing. This is the kind of people that you meet outside Cardiff. The bloke hasn't even been able to get in, and he still wants to be here, enjoy the atmosphere. It's electric, Patrick. It's amazing. And my hat's going to blow off in a second.
Oh, Jack. Well done. Round of applause for Jack.
Sorry, for audience. Who wants Patrick to sing Wonderwall?
Together.
No. You pick on.
Together. I am not doing it. I'm absolutely not doing it. But back to Jack, because Jack, I want to. Can you still hear me? Yeah, Jack. What has it been like just to be there? Because it is a genuine moment in history, isn't it?
Well, this is it, and we've met people from Washington, we've met people from Melbourne in Australia. I mean, there are so many people that have just wanted to be here to smoke. Here's just Tommy's from Bridgend, a little bit close to home. But there are people from everywhere, and what's amazing is that you think back to the generation that grew up with Oasis. They're passing that on to their kids with the amount of mums and sons, dads, daughters and sons that we've met today, and it's that next generation, and it just shows you how big this band is, that their music that was so huge in the 90s, here in 2025, when, bearing in mind, they've not been together on stage for 16 years. It's almost 6,000 days before today since they last actually appeared together. And the crowds that they've drawn, you know, the tens of millions around the world that wanted tickets, the 900,000 plus that were able to get them, that just shows you, and the atmosphere that we've seen today, with Oasis fans basically taking over the whole of Cardiff. I don't think you get that for any other band, not for any other gig, any other kind of stadium show. You don't get the fans take over the city in the whole day before and not just turn up in the evening. So that just shows you the kind of people Oasis fans are. They absolutely love this band, and today, as you were mentioning, is a real moment of history.
Absolutely. Well, Jack, thank you. I mean, these are the best live hits I enjoy doing, because you never know what's going to go on behind you at these things. And you know, I'm going to cut away now just before it gets a little bit too Larry, I think. But thank you very, very much, Jack Carson there. Well, brilliant stuff. Well, anyway, yeah, I can't wait to go and see him. So sorry for everyone who missed out, but you know, life's got winners and losers, hasn't it? So anyway, not taking the wife though, unfortunately. So there was only one ticket. I've got lots more to come in the next hour.
Labour, an astonishing victory for Sir Keir Starmer, 410.
Well, OK, we're going to take a look at Sir Keir Starmer's record 1 year on from that colossal landslide. So we'll be talking about all of that. We're also going to be talking about French police. French police slashed a migrant boat today, everybody. There we go. Could it have anything to do with the fact that Emmanuel Macron's got a state visit in the next few days, do we think? I suspect that it might be. So will that make a blind bit of difference? We'll be checking back in because the best bit about the Oasis gig for us is going to be when those fans start coming out, absolutely steaming, and Jack Carson's going to be there with a microphone. So there we go. Anyway, right, guys, well, we're going to go to a break now, but I said maybe.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed home battery storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Things are definitely looking a bit wetter for many this weekend than they have been recently. It's because there's a weather system which has already brought quite a bit of rain across many parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland. It's now feeding into northern and western parts of England and Wales, and that whole system's going to continue to feed its way across the whole country as we go through the rest of today, overnight and into tomorrow. As a result, there will be a lot of cloud around, outbreaks of rain for many, perhaps just some eastern parts of England and Scotland staying largely dry. There will also be some blustery winds with all that unsettled weather. Well, temperatures aren't going to drop a huge amount, most places holding up well into the teens. As we go through tomorrow morning then, a bit of a cloudy, damp start for many places. Across many areas of the south, there will be some outbreaks of rain, could be quite persistent across parts of Devon and Cornwall and also South Wales. Further north, and it's a bit of a west-east split, quite damp across parts of Northern Ireland, northwest England and much of central and western Scotland. Further east, a greater chance of some drier and perhaps even brighter weather. And that's the theme that we'll take through the day, really. Western areas will always see the wettest weather because that's where the rain is coming from. Rainfall totals across western Scotland continuing to build up. Could be some travel disruption, maybe even a bit of flooding here. And also in the southwest, need to bear in mind there could be some heavier bursts of rain for a time. All the while towards the east, a greater chance of staying dry, a bit more sunshine breaking through here and some higher temperatures, albeit temperatures generally down a little bit compared to some recent days. Then as we go into Sunday, yes, there may be some bright or sunny spells around, but on the whole, it's again looking pretty cloudy and there will be some showery bursts of rain, some heavier bursts perhaps across some parts of the southeast. Monday may still bring a few showers for some of us, but there does look likely to be a more drier trend as we go through next week and perhaps warming up too.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed home battery storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Imagine having an extra £1,000 to spend each week for an entire year. £54,321 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to spend however you like. £54,321 in cash could be landing in your bank account this year. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, It happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Happy Friday, everybody! Yes, we haven't done this side yet. Hello at the back. Good stuff. Brilliant. All right. Hello. Woo, OK, well, it's 10 p.m. Thank you very much to my live studio audience. They're in fine fettle this evening. I have got a wonderful show lined up for you, so starting this hour.
Exit poll result now. Let's reveal it. Labour, an astonishing victory for Sir Keir Starmer, 410.
There you go, that was the Labour landslide a year ago. Now, actually, in fact, literally now. Exit polls came out 10 p.m, didn't they? So it was happening this time a year ago. Gosh, how times change. Anyway, it's been a disaster.
I wanted somewhere safe and quiet for my son to do his GCSE preparation. I needed it to be secure because of the situation we were in.
Been a few scandals along the way there, haven't there? It started with the freebies.
And may I take this opportunity to thank our outstanding British Transport Police for everything that they do to support staff and passengers.
And it culminated in his Chancellor crying her eyes out in the House of Commons a couple of days ago. Also tonight. Well, so the French police actually stopped a migrant boat today. Yay! No more war with France then. So there we are. Plus. Mad for it, our kid, mad for it! Yeah. Sunshine! Oh, here he is, Jack. Hello. Go on, get out of your way. Go on. Jack Carson, there he is. He's outside Cardiff. Anything can happen. How is it, Jack?
Well, do you know what? Shall we all sing it together? So, Sally can wait. She knows it's too late as we're walking on by. And so slides away. Don't look back in anger. Look back in anger. Well, it's all going on here in Cardiff. Patrick, we'll bring you people as they come out from the first night of the tour.
Oh, brilliant. Hey, give it up. That is the award-winning Jack Carson. Oh, brilliant. Right, OK. Well, I'm going to take these off now because on my panel tonight we do have the former editor of London Evening Standard. It is Emily Sheffield. GB News presenter Alex Armstrong. Broadcasting royalty Christo Fufas. And the Labour MP for Brentworth, Barry Gardner. A few less booze than last time, Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Well, it's been a disaster, hasn't it, for Sir Keir Starmer? He's not celebrating a year in office, neither are we. Stay tuned.
Patrick
Patrick, thank you very much. The top stories, well, in the last hour, banning Palestine Action as a terror group would have a chilling effect, the Court of Appeal has been told, in a last-minute challenge to temporarily stop the ban. Earlier today, Huda Amori, the group's co-founder, unsuccessfully asked the High Court to temporarily block the government from designating the group as a terrorist organisation before a potential legal challenge against the decision to prescribe it under the Terrorism Act. The move is to come into force at midnight after Judge Mr. Justice Chamberlain refused the bid for that temporary block. Also breaking this evening, Hamas has submitted its response to a US-brokered Gaza ceasefire proposal. A Palestinian official familiar with the negotiations said today, describing the response as a positive one that should facilitate reaching a deal. US President Donald Trump earlier announced a final proposal for a 60-day ceasefire in the nearly 21-month-old war between Israel and the terror group Hamas, stating he anticipated a reply from the parties in the coming hours. Jeremy Corbyn says discussions are ongoing over the formation of a new political party after Zara Sultana announced she was quitting Labour to co-lead one alongside him. In a statement on social media, the independent MP for Islington North says real change is coming. This Labour government has refused to deliver the change people expected and deserved. Miss Sultana, who represents Coventry South, was one of 7 Labour MPs who lost the party whip last summer for backing a move to scrap the 2-child benefit cap. The deputy leader of the Liberal Democrats, Daisy Cooper, says it's indicative of the public's dissatisfaction with the two main parties. Elsewhere, a 15-year-old boy who killed a man in a Leicestershire park will have his sentence reviewed because it may have been too lenient. The child, who cannot be named because of his age, was handed a term of 7 years detention in June for the manslaughter of 80-year-old Bim Coley. It will be reviewed by the Court of Appeal under the unduly lenient sentence scheme. And a brawl filmed at Manchester Airport last summer followed an attack on a member of the public at Starbucks, a jury heard today. Brothers Mohammed Fahim Amaz, who's 20, and Mohammed Ahmad, who's 26, are said to have used a high level of violence in assaulting 3 police officers in Terminal 2 in July last year. Police were at the airport responding to an earlier incident at the Starbucks cafe where Mr. Ahmad headbutted a man and punched him. Both brothers from Rochdale in Manchester deny those allegations. They claim self-defence. And those are the latest headlines for now. More news in an hour. It is back to Patrick.
For the very latest GB News direct to your smartphone, sign up to News Alerts by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/alerts.
Fantastic audience tonight. Thank you so much. People coming from far and wide, including the United States, just to be here this evening. You love to see it. So, we have suffered 1 year of Sir Keir Starmer.
It is 10 o'clock right now, and that means the exit poll is going to be revealed. More importantly, of course, it means the polls have closed.
The exit poll result now. Let's reveal it. Conservatives, 131 seats. Labour, an astonishing victory for Sir Keir Starmer, 410.
Well, he came in on a wave of optimism. Then this happened. Freebies Gate, yes, they all went to see Taylor Swift and they didn't initially declare that properly. Then it turned out that Lord Ali bought his suits and his wife's clothes. And let him stay at his penthouse. But why were you staying at that £18 million penthouse, Sir Keir?
I wanted somewhere safe and quiet for my son to do his GCSE preparation. I needed it to be secure because of the situation we were in.
Oh, so your child could revise for his GCSEs. Shame that the exams finished way before you moved out, though, wasn't it? Weird that, just got comfy. And does anyone remember this woman?
Leaders have to motivate people to do things they wouldn't otherwise do.
That was his voice coach. Yes, just his voice coach, who had to give him lessons on Christmas Eve during lockdown. So, it was a bad start, all that came out, scandal, scandal, scandal. But then, things got better.
At times like this, we must all put the national interest first and play by the rules. Of course, I understand that sticking to the rules can be inconvenient. But stick to the rules
Oh, no, they didn't, because it looked like a video emerged of him in Lord Halley's house during COVID as well, so that was all a little bit odd. Well, then he scrapped the winter fuel payment for pensioners, didn't he?
Fuel cut, no way! Tax the rich and make them pay! Winter fuel cut, no way! Tax the rich and make them pay! Winter fuel cut, no way! Tax the rich and make them pay!
OK, and then he mugged off the farmers. So, yes, illegal migrant crossings are up 50% as well on last year, but at least he had a really good time at Labour Party conference and didn't make a fool of himself.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
Has anyone seen the sausages? Have the sausages returned? No one's returned the sausages yet. So anyway, he's given away the Chagos Islands. He's made us pay for it. We've got Spanish police on British soil in Gibraltar. He was sidelined by Trump when it came to Iran, and then this happened. Nigel Farage bent him over and spanked him at the local elections, didn't he? So, his MPs went out and, well, let's put it this way, they connected with the public. Yeah, Mike Amesbury there just battered a constituent in the street, didn't he? Just battered him. Well, he's done more U-turns than a one-armed swimmer, including this week on welfare, which caused his Chancellor to cry her eyes out in Parliament.
And may I take this opportunity to thank our outstanding British Transport Police for everything that they do to support...
Of course, that was a personal matter. Talking of U-turns...
Politicians who sat in government for many years, calling for inquiries because they want to jump on a bandwagon of the far right.
He didn't want a Pakistani rape gangs inquiry, but now there is one, and he likes calling people far-right, a bit like he did after Southport, remember that? Gosh, didn't handle that well, did he? And he said that he wouldn't raise taxes, but taxes have gone up. He's tanking in the polls, the public don't believe a word he says, and there's loads more I could have said, but we haven't got all night. So, how much longer before he's turfed out of Downing Street and on the phone to Lord Halley asking for his old room back? But there we go. Right, let's go straight to my audience. There's a chap on the front row here. What's your name? Where are you from? What would you like to say, mate?
Oh, yeah. I'm Reese. I'm from Bury.
Lovely part of the world.
A bit, yeah. No, I just wanted to raise a point because this past year, since the Labour government have been in, I've seen every aspect of my life somehow get worse. I've seen the nation financially just destroyed. I've seen so many riots in streets, and I've seen so many wrong things like crimes from illegal migrants, and I saw a 20,000 migrant channel crossing figure the other day, which is the most in a record history, which I'm so shocked at. So I just want to ask, what is Labour going to do to turn it around? Because they've done a lot of U-turns and not for the good.
So one U-turn they could do is make things better.
I hope so. I hope so, yes.
Do you mean change, by any chance?
A bit of change.
Interesting. I thought that's what we were voting for, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well done, mate. Thank you very much. It's always great to see a younger person as well engaging in politics and on the media as well. Fantastic stuff. So go on, Christys. You're itching to get involved.
No, I'm not. I'm just Barry. I think you should actually take the floor after that list.
Go on then.
Barry's pitching.
You've put down a whole load of things that have gone wrong last year. Absolutely right. Yeah. I'm not going to try and justify those.
All right, then, my turn.
4 million.
Go on.
What I'm going to do, Christo, is I'm going to talk about 4 million extra NHS appointments, 3 trade deals, 4 interest rate cuts that are reducing people's mortgages, 3,000 more police officers, 1,900 more GPs, the biggest upgrade of workers' rights in a decade, water company bosses being banned for getting their pollution wrong, from taking their bonuses, the biggest increase in defence spending since the Cold War started, and wage growth higher.
Things like rural broadband, giving away the Chagos.
Wage growth higher in 10 months than in the last 10 years. Okay, so there's a lot that's gone wrong, but there's a hell of a lot that's actually starting to be fixed. We've got another 4 years to get on and do it, but we've got a hell of a lot of work to do.
OK, do you think Starmer can claw this back? What do you make of his first year?
Yeah, he's totally finished. I mean, look, you don't have your chance of the crying behind you in PMQs because you're doing well in Parliament, do you? Let's face it, right? Let's get with reality. Whilst Barry said some good things there, and I want Britain to be prosperous. I don't care what the government is. I just want Britain to do well. I think we'll all agree with that. But, you know...
So why are you talking it down?
Well, look, I'm not talking... But we need to tell the public the reality, Barry. We
it.
can't gaslight the public into thinking things are going well.
I'm just giving you the reality.
I mean, his chance has been crying behind him at PMQs. Barry, come on, let's get to grips with the reality here. This party is dividing, it's pulling itself apart. It took the Tories 14 years to get into this utter mess, and now Labour's done it in less than a year. Let's put it that way.
So, go on, there's a chap here, I think, you wanted to make a point, did you?
Well, yeah, I wondered if Barry, he probably will agree, but whether he said before that any Labour leader is better than any Conservative leader, but surely, you know, this has to shake that confidence. Starmer's last 12 months, disastrous.
Well, as I say, there's a lot of good things that have happened, and nobody would say, and I'm sure you wouldn't claim, sir, that we inherited a great financial situation from the Tories. We inherited a country that was in a mess. We had the worst ratings of the NHS that there's ever been. When we left it in 2010, they had the best ratings there'd ever been. So we have a lot to turn around.
Let's get to Emily. That first year of Starmer, in summary, was there anything you particularly... Do you think he can turn it round? Do you think it's as bad as I've made out?
Well, I just want to ask that you said he was talking down the country. What was the first thing that Starmer did when he came to power? Talk down the country. Yeah. He said there was a 22 billion hole. Well, they somehow found 175 billion to fill that 22 billion hole at the same time as taxing ordinary workers. So I'm sorry. And also, what's their excuse for doing so badly in the first year? The Tories had to deal with a pandemic and then a war in Ukraine.
That wasn't in the first year.
The first 6 years...
The pandemic was in 2020. They came into power in 2010.
The first 6 years of the Tory government, we were recovering after Labour emptied our coffers. So I'm sorry, the first 6 years were incredibly stable and we recovered from a global financial meltdown. What is your excuse in your first year of power? Your Chancellor is in tears. Keir Starmer is already loathed by his own party, who he refuses to even speak to, and I can list a whole... His own Labour MPs say he looks down his nose at them. And what's he done for the country? He comes in, he talks it down, and nothing has got better. He's not had a pandemic. He hasn't had a war break out in Ukraine. He's just made mistake after mistake after mistake. And I think a lot of us are feeling incredibly nervous about where the country is going to be in 3 years' time.
I would like to add to that brilliant diatribe.
There's more?
There's more. What is so irritating is we inherited a mess. Well, yes, there was a lot of spending during COVID, and that did leave us in a financial mess. Spending that the Labour Party supported. All of the measures that left us in a financial mess.
Wanted more of it.
Supported, and then they got into power, and they were sort of like, oh, we didn't realise that there'd been money spent when they were there supporting it. Now...
Sorry, we didn't support the billions that went to pay the crooks that gave us the...
No, but you supported all that... the lockdowns, all of that left us in a mess. Labour supported.
The ones who got all the equipment that never worked, that we've had to junk since.
Absolutely.
The complete shysters, the mates of mates, the mates of the friends.
That's corruption.
Yes, exactly.
That's corruption.
And it still hasn't been recovered.
But, I'm sorry, all of the spending over COVID, Labour supported. And let's talk about where we are as a country now. You're quite right. 3 months of talking down the country before we ended up with the budget, which was so disastrous, right? We have such an exodus of wealth in this country now. The only country where more millionaires left is Turkey. That's the only country that more millionaires left in 2024. We've had, you were talking earlier about business confidence. According to the government's own insolvency service, the number of businesses folding rose 15% year on year in May. We've got the highest tax in history. 274,000 payrolled employees were fired in the last...
Really interesting, Christo, because you've looked up the statistic and you can't say I was wrong. Business confidence is at the highest level that it's been. So you checked, and then you chose another statistic to come back at
I'm
me.
sure the data point is correct, but it is a weird statistic. I mean, how do you get a statistic of every business's confidence in the government? You have to be very careful. I mean,
the same way as you've done for the past 20 years.
Businesses are closing.
I just don't think the country, when you've got a deputy prime minister who's leaking her manifesto to the Telegraph, which happens then a few weeks later that have this big rebellion on our hands. I think we have Angela Rayner as Prime Minister in waiting, and I think Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves know it.
I suppose there's
Oh,
big...
God, don't say that.
There's big questions.
I'm going to be in tears again.
I was right when I said this can't be a disaster. I think I'm going to be right again.
Do people think that Keir Starmer's still going to be in post this time next year?
No.
The concern might be, for maybe people in this room anyway, is that what comes next, is it going to be harder left or whatever? So I suppose, you know, Barry, final word to you on this, because, sorry, you have to take a bit of a pelting here, to be fair, mate, but what do you think Keir Starmer... Honestly, do you think Keir Starmer's going to be in post this time next year? It's looking pretty bleak.
Yes, I do. Look, I think it's been an incredibly tough first year. I think one of the interesting things, and we're talking about business confidence, is when the markets thought that Rachel was not going to be in post, what happened? They reacted negatively, OK? The bond markets reacted against that because they wanted her to stay in post, because they believe that at least she has
We didn't say the
By
same
the way,
about Liz Truss,
we
if you
don't know
remember
that
we
for
booted her out of
sure.
office.
We don't know that for sure. They might have also been reacting because they saw a recreation of the madness that this government said it wasn't going to allow.
Yeah,
so we don't know that they reacted because she was going to leave. They saw their Chancellor crying and the pound tanking, and it's no surprise the gilt markets reacted at that point, because what they saw was instability in all its forms.
Well, that's not the way most commentators are spinning it.
Well, spin might be the operative word, that's to be fair, but yes, OK. All right, well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But anyway, we've made it through the first year, so there we go. Not long now. So, plenty more to come tonight, including Greatest British Union Jackass, but next... Yes, this is live footage outside Cardiff's Principality Stadium. Oasis have just blown the roof off that place, so Jack Carson is going to give you the first reviews. Oh, I could watch that all night. I just could. You never know. Oh, no, something bad must have happened. There we go. I could watch it all night because you never know what's going to happen. We're going to go to Jack Carson outside there very shortly, get that first reaction from people leaving the, well, one of the most historic gigs ever. So there we go. Stay tuned, everyone.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Vegetarians now have a greater desire to wield power more than their meat-eating counterparts. I mean, you like a sausage, shouldn't you, Biggins?
I like a sausage, but I have gone off meat per se, funnily enough, as I'm getting older. I think there are, it takes a lot of eating a piece of meat, if you pardon the expression.
And the older you get, the more you find that it takes a lot of meat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I must admit, I have more of a conscience about eating meat as I get older.
Yeah.
And that's a fondness of animals brings that. And if you ever go on Instagram and you look at cows and horses and pigs,
they're wonderful.
They're all affectionate and
know,
incredible.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And there we are, putting it into our mouths and eating it.
What do you think about the move to enforce vegetarianism on people, though? Because especially in schools and some universities, there's this trend for Meat-Free Monday, where there's this enforced absence of meat on children.
I think it's ridiculous. Let kids do what they want, to be honest. Within reason, obviously, a healthy diet, da-da-da-da-da. But no, I think, I don't eat meat. The husband eats meat. It's not an issue. Eat what you want. But I think that the fact that they're trying to force this into schools, look, let kids experiment, give them a vegetarian option.
Yes,
let
yeah,
them
all
see
schools
what
do that.
Just options.
It has just become political, and also there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I know children are often told that eating meat is terrible for the environment, but importing avocados thousands of miles is also terrible for the environment.
But also, I mean, a lot of vegetarian meals, are certainly processed vegetarian meals, have got a load of salt and fat and sugar in them, so they're actually worse for you than eating a lean piece of meat.
I think the tide is turning now, because the new trend amongst young people, particularly young men, is protein. Chicken, breasts, tuna. That's the new trend, to get as much protein in them as possible. It's very difficult to do when you're vegetarian.
GB News, the People's Channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Oasis are back together after 16 years. Look, it's good that everyone's able to stay calm about the situation. No one's gone OTT about it. People haven't got dressed up and got a tambourine and started saying things like mad for it, mad for it. No one's saying any of that. The reason why I'm looking like this now is I was reliably informed that we were about to go to Jack Carson, because he's been outside the Principality Stadium in Cardiff for us, and he was going to interview people as they were leaving. And I don't know what's happened, but I've just had it in my ear that we're not allowed to do that anymore. So this is awkward, isn't it?
See how the BBC weren't able to cut a live stream when it was getting bad? But we can do it. We can do it right.
We'll cut a live stream whether we mean it or not, mate. Honestly, don't worry about that. So now I'm dressed like a plonker, and we're not doing the Oasis segment. So
you could sing it again, though.
What? No. Yeah. What I suggest we do is we take this off, right, and we jump my auto cue to the section we were going to do, which is about the French police slashing a migrant boat. So there we go. Right, let's get that to it. There we go. We have got, in fact, you know what? I'll wing it. The French, the migrant, the first time. We're on. Good. And it was a glorious sight to behold. They pulled passengers back to shore just before it launched for Britain. Dozens of people were boarding the dinghy. Shut up, Christys. Dozens of people.
It looks like Oasis have been found.
Oh no! I'm going to get sued by Oasis if I start talking about migrants while I'm wearing their top. Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe we should chat.
We're going to do it anyway.
Is this how it works on live
Do you want me to take over for a
You
bit?
take over. Read that.
Okay. The dinghy, when officers rushed in and punctured it with a knife. Guys.
No, you need to move the remote.
I thought it was automatic.
It's right.
The other way. The other way.
I have actually done this before. Dozens of people were boarding the dinghy.
This is how I learned how to do it, by the way.
Dozens of people were boarding the dinghy when officers rushed in and punctured it with a knife. The migrants fell into the water and were forced back to land. No injuries were reported.
But they didn't.
Wait. There's a video to be played, I believe.
They didn't look back in anger.
No, the video's not here. Nice.
Sorry.
UK Home Secretary Yvette Cooper called it a welcome move, part of a plan to stop boats before they set off. Some critics warn it's dangerous, are you dressed yet, and could lead to more deaths. Over 20,000 migrants have crossed the Channel this year. No, I'm doing all right, actually. 50% rise.
Pat's going to be out of a job at the end of this.
France and the UK
Yes, I am.
are expected to announce tougher joint measures next week.
Wants to make a point or ask a question about these migrant boats and the French deciding they were going to slash them. Sir, good for you. Thank you very much. What would you like to say?
Quite a simple question, really. This is really the second boat that's been slashed, because the first one was as a result of Patrick's trip to Calais. I think most people have forgotten that.
Yes.
So now, does that mean we've had two boats slashed and it's cost us something like £500 million?
Wow.
So do we have to pay £250 million to have the third one slashed?
Well, it's an interesting point. I mean, I know that you're joking, but there is a good point to it. And I would, the cynic in me would suggest that maybe we've got a visit by Emmanuel Macron coming quite shortly, haven't we? I wonder whether or not they made a big song and dance over slashing this boat in order to make it seem a bit better. Alex, this is one of your specialist subjects. What do you make of the fact the French have started slashing the boats?
I just don't buy it. Do any of you really buy it that they're going to do this every day? It's theatre, isn't it? It's complete political theatre. I think you've absolutely nailed it, Patrick. Emmanuel Macron's coming over. He doesn't want to protest. He probably wants to come over all glorified again. Look, we're stopping this now. Thanks for all that money you gave us years ago. We're actually doing the job you're paying us to do. I think it's a load of nonsense, Pat. Really do.
Are you as cynical as I am, Christo?
I am cynical because I always thought that they hid behind the law that once a boat is in the water, they're not allowed to actually puncture.
Well, they say they've changed it now.
But now they can do that, apparently.
Well, I think they've changed the law. So now we've got to hold them to account. We've seen them what they can do, because I think most ordinary people looking at those police officers on the beach, watching those migrant boats go off right in front of them, and we know as a country we're paying them millions of pounds. Most of us were just like, our jaws were on the floor. You're literally like, what? Common sense completely gone out of the window. So I think actually, I know we want to be cynical, and I know we might think it's about Macron, and I'm sure that's part of it, but I think we should applaud it. This is the first time they've actually done something which all of us can look at and go, yes, common sense. People in a boat, get a knife out, slash it.
But we also
what was so difficult all these years?
Of hundreds of boats that have crossed to the channel. We shouldn't glorify the fact they've done their job once. If I did my job once, I would have been sacked a long time ago. And that's the reality. We shouldn't go, well done, France, you did your job. That's why I dislike. That's why I'm not giving it any credence. It's nonsense.
It's like we've been given a little crumb. It's like they've given us a little
well done, Britain.
Here you go.
50 people. 20,000 more coming.
Yeah, because the other thing is obviously going to be the follow-up. So when I was out there in Calais, what really stood out to me was there was a great big migrant camp, and it's next to the sea. And the French hadn't even bothered to put a fence up. So there's no fence between that camp and where they walk across the field to get on the beach, to get the boats, to come to Britain. And I would have thought that maybe the least they could do was put a fence up. And they didn't do that. So I am very sceptical about this. And the other thing is, what do they do once they've got them off the boat? Do they say, all right, go and have another go tomorrow? Is that what it is? They say, oh, you can just go back in, you know, rest up, better luck next time, chaps. And let's be honest, it is mostly chaps, isn't it? But, Barry, what do you make of it? Because the argument would be that this is in some way a victory for Yvette Cooper. She's got the French to change their law, and now that they've seen them doing something.
Well, it's not a victory until it is a repeated, habitual way of dealing with this. So I understand why you're sceptical. I think I want to be sceptical as well, you know. We didn't call them for 200 years the perfidious French for nothing.
That's a good point.
You know, but actually, I think let's see what happens. They have changed the law. Emily's right. And if we say to Macron when he comes over, oh, well, you've only done it once, that's not going to help the situation. No. So I think what we've got to say is, look, thanks for doing it, but keep on doing it.
Guys, have we got footage of that? I think it's somewhere in there, isn't it? I don't know if we can maybe bring up the footage of the French actually doing it, because it was quite telling, really, I thought. They actually decided to go and slash the boat, and I think we might be able to show that in a second. But, you know, to our man's point here, you know, this has cost us a huge amount of money. Do we honestly think that the French are going to continue to do this? I'm not sure.
Well, they are under pressure. Can I just say that there was there's a charity there, Project Play, which has basically said it's dangerous to pierce the boats because there might be children in the boats. They're not worried the children are in the boats when they go across the channel. They're worried about them being pierced.
No, but also a child was stamped to death as the boat went into the water by other young male migrants.
Yeah.
So
I just want to briefly say there's only one way to stop the boats, and that is to start deportations in this country. Once we start deporting people, they won't keep coming. We need to grow up. We need to get some balls.
OK. Can we play that clip of them slashing the boat? Is that possible? We got it? Yeah, there we go. OK, here they go. The French come. So a couple of weeks ago, they were giving them life jackets and pushing them out, and now this time they... Yeah. You can hear them going, oh, no, there we go.
Was it just by chance there happened to be a camera crew there, Patrick?
Well, I think it just shows... I mean, look, again, from my experience, seriously, if you just hang around there, you just see the absolute scale of the problem. I mean, there are boats everywhere and people are getting in them all the time. Gentleman on the front row would like to make a point, sir.
Hello, Patrick. It's Glyn from Portsmouth. Patrick, this is OK We've seen the French police with knives, but as soon as one of these migrants gets hold of one of these knives, then all of a sudden the whole thing's going to stop, isn't it? Or even if a French policeman cuts himself, there'd be some reason why they can't use a knife to slash these boats.
Good point.
And that's going to happen. A migrant is going to get hold of a knife because, as we know, they're not all innocent people coming over on these boats.
No.
So one of them's going to get a knife, a policeman's going to get hurt, and that'll be the end of that. And I totally agree with Alex, exactly what he said. You need a deterrent, and that's exactly what the Conservative Party put in, and the Labour Party's first job was to wipe that out. No deterrent, so they're going to keep coming over.
Sir, can I just point out...
OK, go on. Could I just... I'll go to you, Barry, but I just want to add something to the knife issue that you raised there, which is that over the course of the last couple of weeks, as people may know if you watch the show fairly regularly, I've been in touch with a few human traffickers and people smugglers, and we have managed to show that some of them are armed with AR-15 semi-automatic rifles, and also that some of them have been putting ISIS propaganda out on their actual pages, which is pretty terrifying. So it's not just the knives, it's also the fact that some of them might be armed, card-carrying Islamists as well. But go on, Barry, to your point, sorry.
Look, I was going to respond to the gentleman's point about the deterrent factor. If you think of the number of migrants that are there and that are trying to come across the Channel, and you remember how many Rwanda could have taken, they knew how many Rwanda had been paid to take. What was it, 40 million, 400 million pounds?
It was a lot of money, yeah, it was a lot of money.
To take about 40 migrants.
But there was proof that it was working and it was a deterrent.
No, there wasn't actually, because
there was.
you didn't. Yeah. Sorry, you didn't send back a single migrant.
It didn't matter. It was already working as a deterrent. They were escaping to Ireland and not coming to Britain.
They were actually increasing the numbers coming across the Channel. So you can't say that actually, Emily. But the point is, they knew how many Rwanda was being paid to take, and they knew that they could overwhelm that very easily. So that deterrent factor simply did not.
Very quickly, so we're not going to have time to answer this question, but would you like to just make a point? Go on.
To support Barry's argument and against Emily. Yeah, if 40 people had come across and been deported to Rwanda, where's our deterrent gone? That was a rubbish policy. If you want to do some sort of deterrent, it needs to actually have teeth. And that had no teeth whatsoever.
OK, fair enough. Good point, sir. Thank you very, very much. Right, OK. We've got loads more coming your way. I'm not sure if we're going to make it to the Principality Stadium in Cardiff. I think I'm hearing that we might do. So Jack Carson's alive. Yay, that's good, because it was touch and go there for a while, wasn't it? But anyway, as temperatures start to soar, we've got the coolest cash prize of the summer. Yes, it's 54,321 quid. It's part of the Great British Giveaway. You can be in it to win it.
The Great British Giveaway is now even greater, with your chance to win our biggest cash prize so far. A totally tax-free £54,321 cash could be yours. Cash that you could spend however you like. It's like having an extra £1,000 each week for a whole year to play with. Imagine what you could do with that. Someone is guaranteed to win this amazing amount of cash, so make sure that someone could be you. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
All right, good luck, everybody. I would also just like to make a very brief apology if anyone did hear some fruity language at some point earlier on. Something might have slipped out, but hey, we've all been there and we're all adults here. So, plenty more to come tonight, including Greatest Britain, Union Jackass, and fingers crossed, for the love of God, I hope this happens. We're going to go to Jack Carson in Cardiff, who's outside the Principality Stadium where Oasis have finished. We're going to get the first reviews of the opening night. Stay tuned.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
With low pressure close to the UK this weekend, higher pressure is expected throughout the Mediterranean. Very hot in Croatia and across parts of Greece. Less breezy through the Greek islands, but less hot for Italy compared with recent days. Still some thunderstorms inland through Italy, across the Alps, and more especially northern parts of Spain and the Pyrenees, seeing some intense thunderstorms. Breezy through the Canary Islands, and really it's more of the same over the next few days.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Things are definitely looking a bit wetter for many this weekend than they have been recently. It's because there's a weather system which has already brought quite a bit of rain across many parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland. It's now feeding into northern and western parts of England and Wales, and that whole system's going to continue to feed its way across the whole country as we go through the rest of today, overnight and into tomorrow. As a result, there will be a lot of cloud around, outbreaks of rain for many, perhaps just some eastern parts of England and Scotland staying largely dry. There will also be some blustery winds with all that unsettled weather. Well, temperatures aren't going to drop a huge amount, most places holding up well into the teens. As we go through tomorrow morning then, a bit of a cloudy, damp start for many places. Across many areas of the south, there will be some outbreaks of rain, could be quite persistent across parts of Devon and Cornwall and also South Wales. Further north, and it's a bit of a west-east split, quite damp across parts of Northern Ireland, northwest England and much of central and western Scotland. Further east, a greater chance of some drier and perhaps even brighter weather. And that's the theme that we'll take through the day, really. Western areas will always see the wettest weather because that's where the rain is coming from. Rainfall totals across western Scotland continuing to build up. Could be some travel disruption, maybe even a bit of flooding here. And also in the southwest, need to bear in mind there could be some heavier bursts of rain for a time. All the while towards the east, a greater chance of staying dry, a bit more sunshine breaking through here and some higher temperatures, albeit temperatures generally down a little bit compared to some recent days. Then as we go into Sunday, yes, there may be some bright or sunny spells around, but on the whole it's again looking pretty cloudy and there will be some showery bursts of rain, some heavier bursts perhaps across some parts of the southeast. Monday may still bring a few showers for some of us, but there does look likely to be a more drier trend as we go through next week and perhaps warming up too.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to what has so far been the most chaotic Patrick Christys Tonight show ever, and that really is saying something, so thank you very much for being a part of it, everybody. So, Oasis, we all know they're back after 16 years. Their reunion tour kicked off in Cardiff this evening. Liam and Noel have not performed together since they split in 2009. After a long wait, there was a bit of ticket price controversy as well, weren't there? They are back. Now, our reporter, Jack Carson, has been there on the ground with the fans. Let's take a look and a listen.
Well, we're here outside the Principality. 70,000 people now coming out after watching Oasis. Johnny, you were in there. I mean, what was that moment like?
Well, you know what? I've waited 16 years for that. I've slept on streets in Edinburgh to watch Noel. I've knocked at Liam's house to beg him to start it up again. That's the best gig that I've been to since, well, you know what? Since I was little. Since I was very, very little. It was magical, spiritual. Oasis healed a lot of things in my life, whether it was relationships, addictions, funerals, etc., life events. Look, that was up there, man. That gave me shivers right through. That made me remember everything good in life. Because you know what? As we seen yesterday with Diogo Jota, it can all go, man, in a second.
What was that like in Live Forever when his picture came up?
When that come on, mate, my WhatsApp went absolutely crazy because I just couldn't believe it. It's like, you know why in main roads when they put John Lennon up, I was expecting that. I thought them to do that for Diogo Jota, absolutely magical. And for the two brothers, to see them actually holding each other.
That was going to be my next question. What was it like when you actually saw them come out and hold each other's arms in the air?
Well, do you know what, mate? We've all seen the Adidas advert. We all seen the promo pics. Everyone was saying it's a photoshopped. Adidas everything. You've seen tonight, mate. The relationship's healed. They said, look, we're hard work, but look, I'm telling everyone now, right, who pays over the odds even for your tickets or whatever, if you've got tickets to go to any of the shows or anything possible, get there, because you won't see it again.
All I'm going to say is, you just had to be here. You just had to be here. You'll never experience anything like that in your life.
What was that like for you boys?
Do you know the best part was it? At the end, when Liam Gallagher and Noel Gallagher shook hands at the end on stage in front of the camera and walked off. Best part of the show. Unbelievable.
And I think the tribute to Diogo Jota, like someone else.
That was amazing. That was.
Especially
unbelievable. That was the best thing you'll ever witness in your life. You'll never see a better concert in your life.
So what was your favourite song? What was your favourite song they played?
You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Live forever.
Amazing. Best show I've ever been to.
That Diogo Jota memorial as well. All I'm going to say, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
We will see you
coming back tomorrow.
That's the way, boy.
I mean, look at this, all the fans here, thousands of people coming out, more than 70,000 people. The crowds are huge. But you can hear from those lads just how special it was to be in that moment. And these guys are going to go home singing. They've had such a good day. We've been here in Cardiff all day. All day the atmosphere has been amazing. Now that they've been inside, now that they've seen it, it seems to be Oasis are back. That says it perfectly. Oasis are back.
Oh, I have got goosebumps just listening to that. Amazing, amazing. Apparently they paid tribute to Diogo Jota as well, that Liverpool player who sadly died yesterday, or the day before, I think it was. So, yes, a really kind of poignant moment. But it sounds like they absolutely smashed it, didn't it? 16 years out and then back with a bang. But what you may or may not have noticed in this room or at home was that I, throughout the course of the show... You all right there, Christo?
Why did you make me put this on?
He's going to start crying again.
Oh, not again.
Yeah. AR kid. No, doesn't work, does it?
No. You know what? It's not the only thing tonight that's gone wrong, to be fair. But you may or may not have noticed that during the course of this show, I have been slipping in Oasis song titles, right? And out there, they have managed to make a little compilation of it. So I think we've got this now. Here we go. Supersonic atmosphere in here. Some might say it's all part of his master plan, and, you know, little by little, all of the foul just slide away. To live forever, cigarettes and alcohol. It's half the world away, that, isn't it? Whatever, stop crying your heart out. I said maybe. OK, well, anyway, turns out, whatever. If it didn't work, the main thing is don't look back in anger, just carry on. So, all right, when we come back, we're going to do Greatest Prissigini and Jackass. Stay tuned, everybody.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain's Newsroom, weekday mornings from 9:30.
Is J.K. Rowling an extremist, radicalised TERF?
It's extraordinarily patronising to suggest that a woman who's created whole new magical worlds from her own imagination has to be radicalised by other people in order to form her own views. That in itself I find extremely patronising. And, you know, a man may think that women don't have our own rich inner life and form our own political views, but we do, as Nana's just demonstrated. But secondly, there's nothing radical about believing that men and women are material realities, and sometimes in law, in policy, in life, that matters. That's her position. It's a very common, in fact, it's a majority position.
James, what is a woman?
But that's Nana.
Well, no, I'm just wondering. Well, it's just a simple question because no. I'm just asking, what is a woman then? Because do you believe that a man can become a woman and a woman can become a man?
Yes, because man and woman is gendered.
So what is a woman? So what is a woman?
There is male and there is female, which is sex. This is the problem that I think a lot of you have. I'm a feminist. I believe in women's rights. I believe in women's safety. But the problem here is we are focusing on an absolute minority of people who have no, when you look at it in the round, who have no threat to women. Statistically,
you don't know that. You listen.
In the way
you don't. The threat to women.
Sorry, not in the way that men are. This is the whole problem. Is that you saying man dressing up as a woman?
Yes.
That's despicable, Nana.
Well, it's the truth.
That is not the reality.
What else?
Nana, do you have any trans friends?
I have plenty of them.
Do you mix with trans people?
I have mixed with trans people. I mix with all people.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. OK, so we have nearly survived another show, just about, skin of our teeth. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody. It's time now for Greatest Britain Union Jackass. We're going to need some audience participation here. Barry, who's your Greatest Britain?
Oasis, for getting through their first reunion concert without punching each other or breaking up.
Yes.
That's a big bet you made there, because that might have happened before you picked it.
Yes, well go on, Emily.
Emma Raducanu, because I think she's had a tough period, and I think sometimes the Brits are too quick to slam our heroes and heroines, and I'm rooting for her. She's got a really big match coming.
Oh, it's a good start here. Go on, Christo, Great Britain.
I'm going to go for the King Charles, because of his brave and selfless decision to scrap the royal train, because he's trying to slim down the monarchy and slim down the expenses, and instead he has made the sacrifice of having 2 bespoke personal helicopters to take him anywhere he wants to go instead. Well done, him. Well done, him.
Good stuff. Go on, Alice.
I'm picking Kemi Badenoch this week. It's her first PMQ. She's actually done a good job, in my opinion, and she just said things how they were, so I'm going to give it to her this week. Well done, Kemi. OK. Well,
it's the first time we've done this where every single suggestion's had a round of applause. I would just like to quickly nominate the chap on the front row who is wearing this fantastic outfit. I don't know if you might be able to pick this up. But, so could you stand up? Could you stand up? And there he is. Look at him. Really good. Really good. Well done. OK, so, Oasis? Anyone? No? Yeah? We're voting now. That's what we're doing, voting. Oasis, Emma Raducanu? King Charles? Yeah. Oh, it's a bit subdued here now, isn't it? I don't know.
It's turning into a republic.
Kemi Badenoch? Oh, right, I don't know. I'm going to go for Oasis. There you are, right. All right. OK, Union Jackass time now. This is the bit we all really want, isn't it? So, who's your Union Jackass, Barry?
I'm going to cast my vote for 4 MPs who voted against the government's attempt to cut welfare, but didn't bother to turn up to debate it in the chamber, so they didn't actually know that the amendments had happened. Now, what were their names? Potchin, Farage...
Stop it. You were doing so well, Barry. You had them eating out the palm of your hand with Oasis, and then no.
They didn't turn up in the chamber. Empty seats. What, they want to govern the country? And they didn't even bother to turn up for the most important debate of the week.
OK, all right. Did Keir Starmer turn up to that?
Well, he had to, didn't he? He wasn't sure if it would go through or not.
All right. Go on then. What's your Union Jackass?
I'm afraid, given that, a year ago he won a stonking majority and he's totally messed it up in the first year, mine is Keir Starmer.
That one, are they?
Go on, Christo.
I'll hang fire, actually. No, I'm going to go for, we've discussed her already, Rachel Reeves, for her complete lack of emotional stability, for crying her eyes out, for being unprofessional, for being ridiculous and causing markets to lose money because you can't stop crying.
You're a very mean man. Very mean man.
Well, why? Why is that mean?
Because, look, politics, people are under pressure, a lot of pressure. And sometimes the media piles that pressure on, and then when somebody responds in a human way, and, I disagree with Rachel's policies on a lot of things, but actually, she had
a lot on her shoulders.
Respectfully disagree.
All right, we're going to have to move on. Alex, who's your Union Jackass, please?
Well, mine is Zara Sultana, the woman who's able to announce she was co-leading a party and only for Jeremy Corbyn to tell her that's not happening.
Right. All right, so Union Jackass, reform. Pin drop. OK. There was one cloud, good lad. Well done. OK, Keir Starmer.
I got the pointer, Chris.
Rachel Reeves and the mean man.
Rachel Reeves. And Zara Sultana. Well, we have a clear and obvious winner, and that clear and obvious winner for Union Jackass is Sir Keir Starmer. So, Yes, thank you very, very much to my wonderful panel. Thank you most of all, of course, though, to the studio audience. You've been absolutely fantastic. Genuinely the best yet. It's been a bit of a mad show, but I have enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. I hope it was worth the trip from the United States, from Bury, from wherever else anyone's come from, Portsmouth over here as well. So thank you very much. I'm going to do late edition now for all the front pages. So stay tuned for all of that, and I'll see you there, I suppose. So stay tuned.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Things are definitely looking a bit wetter for many this weekend than they have been recently. It's because there's a weather system which has already brought quite a bit of rain across many parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland. It's now feeding into northern and western parts of England and Wales, and that whole system's going to continue to feed its way across the whole country as we go through the rest of today, overnight and into tomorrow. As a result, there will be a lot of cloud around, outbreaks of rain for many, perhaps just some eastern parts of England and Scotland staying largely dry. There will also be some blustery winds with all that unsettled weather. Well, temperatures aren't going to drop a huge amount. Most places holding up well into the teens. As we go through tomorrow morning then, a bit of a cloudy, damp start for many places across many areas of the south. There will be some outbreaks of rain, could be quite persistent across parts of Devon and Cornwall and also South Wales.